All right, next up, we have a veteran and teacher. Wes Fryer is a U.S. Air Force veteran, a 30-year educator, and a current middle school classroom teacher here in Charlotte, teaching STEM. We love our teachers. And media literacy, a graduate of the U.S. Air Force Academy and Fulbright scholar. He is passionate about strengthening democratic norms, civic responsibility, and building community. Give it up for Wes, everybody.
Let me start by saying how beautiful you are. Imagine this, a diverse, pluralistic, representative democracy. What a concept. All right, at the risk of revealing who's a little older here, who remembers Schoolhouse Rock? All right, so a lot of us that took civics back in the day, we watched Schoolhouse Rock. You remember I'm Only a Bill? I'm only a bill, yes, I'm only a bill, and I'm sitting here on Capitol Hill, and I don't remember the rest, and I'm not going to sing. All right, but that's the point, all right? That simple cartoon taught, and if you don't know it, Google it, all right? Or ChatGPT it, all right? Because it's on YouTube. That simple cartoon taught so many of us how our government is supposed to work. A bill gets introduced. It gets debated. It gets passed by Congress and signed by the president. That's how laws are made. But what happens when a president decides he's above all that? What happens when executive orders replace democratic debate? When due process is ignored and the Constitution is treated like an obstacle rather than a guide. That's why we're here today. I am speaking to you not just as a current middle school classroom teacher. How many teachers do we have out there? Thank you. Thank you, teachers. How many retired teachers do we have out there? Thank you. But I'm also speaking to you as a veteran of the United States Air Force. On May 27th, 1992, I raised my right hand and I took an oath with 1,087 other classmates at a little school you might have heard of at Colorado Springs. I actually got to see the graduation this past year, about 2 weeks ago at the Air Force Academy. And what do we pledge when we receive a commission in the United States military? To support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Today, this oath means everything to me. How many of you have taken an oath like that? But ladies and gentlemen, I want to be clear that our fellow Americans, our neighbors, our co-workers, our family members, are not our enemies. They are our community. The real threat we face today is authoritarianism and fascism. And let me add to that white supremacy, misogyny, and racism. So why no kings? Hey, let me just ask a question. How many of you are on social media? Anybody? Well, I'm going to say this at the end, but I'll just say it now. We need to resist with media too. We need to tell our communities, because we're all connected to different folks, why are we here? Why did you take a risk to be here today? There are folks that are not here who might want to be here. They're not here, and we took a risk to be here. We are here because the founders of our country rejected monarchy. They built a system of separation of powers with 3 co-equal branches of government. They believed no one person should hold unchecked power because religious liberty and pluralism, not theocracy, not Christian nationalism, were foundational values. And because in the United States, the power still belongs to the people, to us. So I'll close with a quick story. Last week, my wife and I were up near Cherokee, North Carolina. Who's from Western North Carolina? Anybody come from Western North Carolina? What a beautiful part of our state. Still recovering from Helene, but as beautiful as I could have ever imagined, okay? And I wanted to cook shrimp and grits our last night there, and I forgot to bring some flour. So I took my measuring cup, and I went to some nearby campsites. And I ended up meeting 3 different groups who I'd never met before. And each one of those sets of campers, those families, greeted me and welcomed me with warmth and kindness. And I found the flour that I needed for my recipe. But I was also reminded of something. And that is that this country is full of good people. Our country is full of people just like you who care about the values of our nation. And so I want to thank you for being here. This rally, this march, this is what civic duty looks like. This is what love of country looks like. So I've already kind of told you my conclusion. I want to encourage you after today to not stop. Go tell your story. Find out the story of your neighbors. Meet your neighbors. Connect with them. Invite them to break bread together. Because we have so much more in common than we have that separate us as Americans. Go on TikTok, go on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, whatever. Share your voice. Let's resist with media. Talk about what brought you here, what you're standing for, what kind of future you believe in. And if you want to use a hashtag, you can hashtag No Kings, but who are we here, Charlotte? We're CLT, right? No Kings CLT, baby. Tag it. No Kings CLT. Tell your story. We are citizens of a multiracial, pluralistic, and democratic republic, and we must never forget that democracy isn't inherited, it's built together, and that's what we're doing today. So, thank you for standing here with me. Let's keep resisting, let's keep building, and let's keep believing in the better future we know is possible, and we will build together.